Help fight Islamic terrorism. Visit www.americansagainst.hate.org.
Thank you everyone for attending this important event to tell the public that there is an evil going on within America. And that evil is being represented here in Fort Lauderdale today within the walls of the Broward County Convention Center. This weekend, the Islamic Society of North America, or ISNA, the largest radical Muslim group in the United States and Canada, This weekend, the Islamic Society of North America is sponsoring its East Zone Conference at the center. It's an event of significance for ISNA, as it features as a speaker ISNA's recently named National President, Mohamed Magid. But before I go into the speakers, let me tell you who ISNA, or the Islamic Society of North America, is. On ISNA's program for this weekend's conference, the titles from some of the sessions include Nurturing Compassionate Communities, Empowering Women and Fostering Healthy Relationships, Faith Communities Working Together, We Are the World, One People, One Nation, Citizenship and Civil and Civic Engagement, Effective Expressions and Conflict Resolution. All things that make you just want to forget who this organization really is. These things make you want to forget about the fact that ISNA was founded by individuals connected to terrorism. Indeed, one of those individuals was convicted terrorist Sami al-Arian. Al-Arian was the North American leader of Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the group based in Gaza that carries out suicide bombings against Israeli civilians. In fact, al-Arian was one of the founders of Islamic Jihad in 1979, only 2 years before he helped create ISNA. Al-Arian spent many years behind bars in America, and today he is kept under house arrest, awaiting his next terror trial. ISNA's conference wants us to forget about the fact that ISNA, as recently as 2008, was named by the U.S. Justice Department as a co-conspirator to the financing of millions of dollars to Hamas. It was for the federal trial against the leaders of the Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development. The Holy Land Foundation, or HLF, was a financing arm of Hamas under the leadership of Musa Abu Marzouk, who at the time was living in the United States as the global head of Hamas. When Marzouk was taken into custody by the U.S. government in 1995, ISNA defended Marzouk, writing in its magazine Islamic Horizons, a publication which is still in existence today, quote, "A member of the political wing of Hamas, disliked by the Zionist entity for its Islamic orientation, continues to be held hostage in the U.S. at the whims of his Zionist accusers," end quote. And quote, "Marzouk has been jailed without trial in New York for months for alleged ties to organizations seeking Palestinian rights," end quote. To ISNA, Hamas is an organization seeking Palestinian rights. But to the majority of the free world, and to all those who have been maimed and disfigured by Hamas, and to all those who have lost family and friends to Hamas, the group is nothing but a terrorist organization. And in the terrorism trial, ISNA was named a co-conspirator for. All of the defendants, including the Holy Land Foundation itself, were found guilty of all charges. ISNA wants us to forget these things, while the group uses flowery kumbaya language to describe the sessions at its conference. But we can never forget, because these things are reality, and we must treat them as such. In the news media, if the news media wants to ignore these facts, we must do their job for them and inform the public about the truth. And if our government officials are ignorant of these facts and accept invitations to ISNA's conferences as they did for this weekend, then we must inform them of the facts as we did for this weekend. 3 government officials were supposed to speak at ISNA's conference at the Broward Convention Center, and thanks in part to our work, all 3 canceled. One of the 3 was Florida State Representative Ari Porth. He personally told me that he accepted the invite from ISNA without knowing about the group's background. I emailed him all of the pertinent information, and he did the right thing and canceled. To one news reporter, Representative Porth said he had heartburn when he found out what the group was about. I would like to say to Representative Porth, thank you. Thank you for doing the right thing. It's not often that I say that to politicians, but in this case, it's warranted. I ask all of you to do the same. When politicians have the guts to not succumb to political correctness, they deserve only our admiration. And in this case, it's well-deserved. But while we praise some politicians for doing the right thing, we must condemn others for doing the opposite. For the Broward County government to allow the use of the Broward County Convention Center, a taxpayer-funded facility, to groups associated with terrorism, groups like ISNA and CARE, is deplorable. Shame on the Broward Commission for allowing this to occur. You were voted into office to protect our safety, not to help our society be dismantled and destroyed. By allowing this group of radicals to use the use of the convention center, you have brought dishonor to this county, and every man, woman, and child living here should know it. I have asked this before, and I'll ask it again. Would you allow the Ku Klux Klan use of the center? I doubt it. But let me tell you, all of you in Broward that have the power to shut down ISNA's event, both ISNA and the Klan are cut from the same cloth.
That's right.
The following quotes, here you go. The following quotes were found on ISNA's website just a couple years ago. Quote, "The hour will not be established until you fight with the Jews, and the stone behind which a Jew will be hiding will say, 'O Muslim, there is a Jew hiding behind me, so kill him.'" Quote, "May Allah fight the Jews and the Christians. They took the graves of their prophets as places of prostration. 2 deans' religions shall not coexist in the land of the Arabs." Quote, "I will expel the Jews and Christians from the Arabian Peninsula and will not leave any but Muslim," end quote. And these quotes are found on ISNA's site to this day. And I checked today to make sure of that. Quote, "Strongest among men in enmity to the believers wilt thou find the Jews and pagans." Quote, "O messenger, let not those grieve thee who race each other into unbelief, whether it be among those who say we believe with their lips, but whose hearts have no faith, or it be among the Jews, men who listen to any lie. It is not Allah's will to purify their hearts. For them there is disgrace in this world, and in the hereafter a heavy punishment," end quote. And quote, "O ye who believe, take not the Jews and the Christians for your friends and protectors. They are but friends and protectors to each other. And he amongst you that turns to them for friendship is one of them. Verily, Allah guideth not a people unjust," end quote. So Broward officials, know that the group that you have allowed access to our Broward Convention Center is connected to terrorism and is connected to hatred. And if the group denies it, we will show you proof that the group is lying. as ISNA's entire conference is one big lie. One big lie to confuse Broward citizens. One big lie to confuse our nation. One big lie that will continue unless we come out and loudly proclaim the truth. At ISNA's conference, one of the subjects the group claims it will be discussing is domestic violence. Well, that's interesting, because one of the main speakers at this conference is an individual by the name of Jamal Badawi. Badawi sits on ISNA National's board of directors, and like ISNA, Badawi was named a co-conspirator for the Holy Land Foundation terrorism trial. One of the unflattering things Badawi is known for is that he is an advocate of wife-beating. In his book, Gender Equity in Islam, Badawi states that if a wife has shown disobedience towards her husband is permitted to beat her. He calls this a, quote, permissible beating, and says that by taking this action, it can, quote, save the marriage. He has reiterated these thoughts in speeches he has made, and in a fatwa, or Islamic religious ruling, he wrote for Islam Online, entitled Wife Beating in Islamic Perspective. Badawi says that this can be performed with the use of a miswak, or small toothbrush. Note to all you women out there who would like to be degraded by your husband with a small toothbrush. On ISNA's official website itself, the group posts a Quranic message mandating the beating of one's wife by her husband. It states, quote, "The righteous women are devoutly obedient and guard in the husband's absence what Allah would have them guard. As to those women on whose part ye fear disloyalty and ill conduct, admonish them first, next, refuse to share their beds, and last, beat them, in parentheses, lightly," end quote. In February 2009, a woman by the name of Asiya Zubair Hassan was beheaded by her husband, Syed Muzamil Hassan. Following the murder, ISNA issued a letter regarding it, written by Mohamed Magid, ISNA's current president, who, as mentioned, is one of the speakers of this conference. The letter said that ISNA was shocked by what had occurred. Magid said it was a wake-up call. Well, evidently, ISNA is still yet to wake up. It is time for us to wake up. It is time for the media to wake up. It is time for the government to wake up. It is time for all citizens of America to wake up. Political correctness must be pushed aside, and groups like ISNA should be pushed out and shut down. ISNA can describe its events any way it chooses. They can tell any lie they want. But in the end, we know the truth. And we must bring that truth to the American people. Thank you very much, again, for participating in this demonstration. Happy New Year to you all. And hopefully this year will be much better than the last. Be well, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Help fight Islamic terrorism. Visit www.americansagainst.hate.org.